Hey guys, I just wanted to do a quick little tutorial on how to set up an InDesign document with columns. This is a perfect way to do like some complex nonfiction or cookbooks that may be set to a larger book size than 6x9. So this particular book is set to 8x10. And this also works for books that are set to 8.5x11. With wide column books like that, part of the theory behind typography is that you want your blocks of text to be readable, easy to understand. It allows the eyes to flow through the text quickly. That's why you will see that newspapers, which is meant to be a quick read, is all set up in columns because it allows our eyes to flow through the text easier, and tests show, so they say, that it is more comprehensible when it's readable, when it's more readable. So that's why you will see a lot of professionally designed books that are large, like 8.5x11 or 8x10, typically done in 2 columns. So when I'm working on a document that is set at that book size, there are a couple things that I'll do. I'll either set a narrow column of text and then have a large white space on one side, or I'll just go ahead and set it to 2 columns like I did in this particular book. Now this is a cookbook, so later on we kind of have a column approach to it. We have a third columns though, so this is basically 2 third columns, and then this is the other third column, so this makes up 3 columns on the page. But this is just a simple text frame, and you may just want to draw a text frame and then draw another text frame, and that's what we used to do probably 10 years ago in InDesign. But now InDesign makes it super easy to set these up. All right, so we're going to do that on this page. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and format this stuff. I actually want to make this blue. And I'm just going to format these and set to chapter text. All right, so now what we want to do is I want to make this into 2 columns. Let's clear these overrides out of here. Clear overrides. And to do that, what we can do up here, if you don't see this part, this is your control panel. You can go to Window, Control. And if you're working on a laptop, you may not see all of these details, but you can get to them in several different ways. I always have it on my control panel, so I'll have to think about it. I think under layout, maybe margins and columns, you can set it there. But I like to do it up here because it's quick and easy. So right here, this is your columns. So the number of columns we want is 2, all right? And then we have to worry about the space between. So let's go back to look at how I set this one up. There's the space between is 0.375. So we would do 0.375 for that space between. And then you'll see how these are uneven. So this looks kind of bad. Well, InDesign has this great little thing where you can say balance columns. All right, see, now they're balanced. Now you're like, oh, that looks bad. Well, let's set the style for this. This is going to be other titles. And now everything went away. Why is that? It's because our other title is set to go to the next odd page. And so now our body, our column style is on this page and not this page. So we're just going to do it again. Set it to 2 columns. And you may think, well, it still doesn't look good. What can we do? Well, it's because this heading 1 right here, it is set to both to the 2 columns. All right. So if we tell it to span all, now it's going to line up. All right. So now that's looking a little better. but I don't like this unevenness, so we're going to click on this one to balance the columns. Now there you go. That's easy. Now let's undo all that. I'm actually going to delete it and force it onto the next page. So we're just going to move it over here so we don't mess it up. And then I'm going to show you another way. Since I already had this style for this particular text frame set up, you can save it as an object style. All right, so you'll already see that I have this saved as a 2-column object style. So now I can click on this and there it goes, 2-column object style, so I didn't have to reset it. So if you do have a document that has multiple pages, always set up an object style. And then if you have all your pages are going to be 2 columns, you can actually go to the text frame on a master page and assign that object style to that master page text frame. So that's an easy trick for you. All right, let's go back to this page now that we've kind of messed it up again. And I need to assign this as other titles. And this heading 1, I'm going to have a space below, and I'm going to do span all. And then we're going to balance the columns. And there you go. All right, now in this particular book, I have ingredient lists. And I have, you select these ingredients. Now it looks like a jumbled mess right now. Let's go to this one. So these are my ingredients, and I have a style set up for ingredient lists. So right now it's a single column. Watch what happens when I set the style. It's in 2 columns. So let's look at how that's done. All right, we'll go to the paragraph style option. And if we go to span columns, it gives you the options to split columns here. And then you can tell it, I want you to watch this as I do it, you can tell it, let's hit preview. And then it's going to go away because we're reflowing it. So let me turn that back. All right, and you can, you wouldn't be able to see it when I change it to 3, but you could tell it to split 3 columns. You can add space between the 2 columns, which is nice because this used to be you couldn't add that space between 2 columns like this when you're using the span columns option in the paragraph style. So it's nice that InDesign added that. And so think about it in your document so you don't have to draw out a multitude of text frames is how you can use that column feature in InDesign. And whether you need to draw out the columns or whether you can build the columns in the text style like we have for the ingredient list. All right, hope that's a good tip for you.